Hello everybody and welcome back to WWE 12 Universe. My name is Jitch and this is Monday Night Raw, kicking things off with an Over the Limit preview for free. Denver, Colorado, as I've taken the game off the screen. How do I go back? Had this TV for years and I still don't know. I just needed to turn it down, it was a little loud. We're getting an over-the-limit preview, a very unusual thing to see. I forgot to set up the custom tires. This has been marked as like today's remarkable match, which is why I'm allowing it to happen. But regardless of what it decides to go through with, I'm saying that Jack Swagger and Edge are facing off just 2 weeks before they fight each other for the World Heavyweight Championship to kick off Raw tonight. And the reason that these two are facing off early is because the winner of this match will decide the stipulation for their World Heavyweight Championship match at Over the Limit. I think that's the only way I can justify giving away a pay-per-view match for free 13 days before it happens. You just say that the winner gets a little something out of it. I just want to know why it's been marked, because today's remarkable match means it's a storyline match, so I gotta let it happen. Bit of a reverse order tonight for Raw, as our main event tonight will see the United States Champion Dolph Ziggler defend his title for the first time since winning it at Extreme Rules just 8 days ago. Originally, the game had booked a handicap match. If you don't remember from the last episode, it was Stone Cold versus DX. Neither of those are on Raw. I understand that the tag divisions are a little screwed up in this game still, because it still treats it as if you've got the unified tag titles, even if you're not using them, which is why I went for the belts I went for, because if you use the SmackDown tag titles, it does the same thing. Otherwise, I would have just kept them for a year and then changed them later. Wait, seriously?
I'm ready for this. Wait a second. What's going on here?
Oh, I love it. I love it. That is absolutely magnificent. Shows his full entrance and then he does that.
I think it's safe to say, King, that he's not at 100%.
I don't know what Jack Swagger's signature is. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's safe.
Does he have the, Yes, he does.
What a move! Can he capitalize?
Jack Swagger ambushing Edge from behind before locking him into the ankle lock. And that is a no-go. Oh.
What? Wait a minute.
Well, Edge broke out of the ankle lock and Swagger said no.
Leave and take the win, or try and bring him back in. I don't know, but we're about to find out.
The World Heavyweight Champion is walking away from this match, perhaps trying to lure Edge. And perhaps he doesn't realize that Edge is right behind him. Okay, I guess he realized at the very end, and I don't really know what to make of the way that Raw has started tonight. These two have been scheduled to go against each other here tonight to determine a stipulation for their World Heavyweight title match. But instead we're getting a thrown out match potentially. Edge keeps trying to take it back to the ring. But that's it. These two have fought to a count out. I just kind of wanted to roll with what the game gave me, okay? So, no one picks the stipulation then, surely. I'm sure we'll give you an update on this in just a moment. Find ourselves back here on Monday Night Raw, waiting the arrival of CM Punk and Randy Orton, who are set to go one-on-one with each other, but allow me to announce to you what has been revealed as the stipulation for Edge and Jack Swagger. It says if they can't keep it in the ring, and if they want to count at 10, then they can have it. They're going to face off in the first ever World Championship last man standing match for the World Heavyweight title at Over the Limit. That's how they're going to solve it. Makes sense to me. They can't resolve it in the ring. They can't keep it in the ring. Make them fight outside. Let them resolve their issues out there. But speaking of issues, speaking of massive problems between superstars here on Raw, look no further. CM Punk finally getting what he has wanted all along on his road to becoming World Heavyweight Champion. Tonight, this guy gets to finally go one-on-one with Randy Orton. It's interesting, McMahon's connection with Randy Orton, his bias towards Randy Orton, now that he's not the World Heavyweight Championship, it seems to have kind of backpedaled a little bit. He doesn't seem to be as focused on protecting his golden boy now that he's not got the gold. I need to fix the call names, I'm sorry. Well, the leader of the Legacy, former World Heavyweight Champion, last week stormed down to the ring in frustration and ordered that anybody who dared came down to the ring and faced him one-on-one. Kevin Nash made his debut on Raw and lost to Randy Orton in an incredibly competitive match. Orton debuting the punt kick, something that he intends to make his move that nobody ever kicks out of. I don't know how long he can keep that one alive for, but it's definitely a devastating move. CM Punk has fought so hard for this moment. I don't think that when he said he wanted a shot against Orton to McMahon, I don't think he meant, like, when Orton's not the champion. There is still a twist here. There is still a bit of Punk not getting what he wanted. I mean, look at last week. Punk was knocked out of contention for the World Heavyweight Championship. McMahon still screwing Punk however he sees fit. So Punk's taking a back seat to Edge, who gets to face Jack Swagger in a last man standing match at Over the Limit. Here tonight, the US title defended in the main event of Raw, obviously a championship match, deserving of the main event spot, that's the rules. We still don't have a hardcore title match for like the third week now. I haven't had any votes, admittedly. I think it's been a little unclear as to when you guys can vote, I'll give you that. But the hardcore title is to be defended. So I guess vote down below and it will be defended next week on Raw, because Vladimir Kozlov at the moment, he's just been getting a load of free days. We're supposed to defend it once every 2 weeks, roughly. He's not booked tonight. And if he is on NXT, it's not for the hardcore title. We haven't had a voted contender, I don't believe. I mean, I may be wrong. We might have a voted contender and I might just not remember. I'm trying to remember to set up superstar threads, but the thing about Universe in this game that I really like, that I wish they'd bring back, is how smoothly everything transitions from match to match. So I have to actually remember to like exit to the menu, change the participants in a match, and then set it up that way. My only concern with that is I don't know if doing that will mess up any stories the game's got booked. Like if it says today's remarkable match, I might not be able to edit it because that might take away that thing, and then the story may not work.
We're in the feeling out process here. Who's going to get the advantage and maintain control?
The former World Heavyweight Champion is going to bring the pain to CM Punk. I really do love the fact that these two are going at it for the first time here on Raw. The first ever SmackDown main eventers.
We still have that colossal main event to come. Randy Orton seems to be relishing in this.
Last week on NXT, we saw the debut of a new Raw superstar in... Sorry, no, that's SmackDown, my mistake. As we saw Mick Foley make his debut. Still many Raw superstars we've not seen the debut of so far. We've seen Kevin Nash and Mick Foley both make their arrivals, but there are many more to come. When they show up, we don't know. I don't think there's any room for any of them to be making their debut tonight. Unless that's the choice for Dolph Ziggler's opponent. The US title is on the line in the main event tonight. We don't know who's being given an opportunity. Some say Justin Gabriel, as he's the former US champion, but he's not due a rematch, so possibly no. Considering McMahon's delegated him down to NXT at the moment, I don't think so. Randy Orton just keeps getting back up. Shades is the World Heavyweight Champion with that one. And that's a quick kick out.
The charismatic superstar CM Punk has demonstrated time and again that he's able to command an almost cult-like following over members of the WWE.
Tell you now, Randy Orton, he's not looking too favorable. Not quite the side of him that we saw last week. Punk stopping in his tracks. I think he was going to go for some kind of a diving move outside the ring. That didn't quite work. Randy Orton was very quick to get up.
Orton delivered that like a shotgun blast. He's taking control again.
Love the competitiveness between these two. No give. Either one of these two could win the match and I'd be happy. This is the side of Randy Orton that I wish we had gotten all along. He doesn't need the legacy. He doesn't need to behave the way that he was as the World Heavyweight Champion. Just be that great fighter that you are. That was awkward. For a guy set to legend, that was very weird.
Randy Orton, a victim of his own dirty deeds.
CM Punk all over Randy Orton right now.
He's heading out of the ring now.
Completely missed on that one as Orton stood out of the way.
The Viper. What is going through that demented mind of Randy Orton?
I must say, CM Punk has really shown a different side of himself in the past few months since coming here to Raw, and he's really shown the heart of a champion, and I think he's done great in his attempts to become World Heavyweight Champion here on Raw, and I'm actually a little disappointed that it's not going to be him facing Jack Swagger for the World Heavyweight title at Over the Limit, especially after he earned it. But arguably there was some involvement from Kane that McMahon has managed to twist, and obviously there is the fact that he didn't win the first match, which was originally supposed to be the match that Punk had to win. What the hell? Oh my god! Well, that's what they mean when they say that an RKO can strike out of nowhere, but not even trying to go for the pin.
The drama. This is electric. CM Punk, the so-called choice of a new generation. Orton's got him.
Caught him with that neck breaker.
What great action we've had in this match.
Oh.
CM Punk, the first.
I'll tell you what, this is now starting to really look like Orton's match finally. I'm wondering where that side of him that we saw in the opener last week was.
Those X's on CM Punk's wrists are the universal sign of the straight-edge lifestyle that Punk embodies. Punk. This match has been 100 miles an hour since the opening bell.
Okay. I wish Orton would do things a little more smoother. He does them really slowly and spaced out.
What sheer determination.
Oh my god, he's had no damage done to him this whole match.
Not fast enough. He's trying to clear out the cobwebs. His head has to be screaming. Punk's a very physical competitor. He knows how to attack joints, elbows, ankles, wrists. Punk's just well versed when he's in control of.
Oh, I forgot I got a signature. They're going to go into panic mode now. So looking like it could be all over for CM Punk.
1, 2.
Very close. But not quite. He keeps trying to, but Orton's just moving out of the way just at the right speed.
He does it again. It's back and forth all night. Unbelievable. That kick almost took his head off.
Looks like Punk's managed to turn the momentum for a moment. It's always good. Oh! That was sudden and reversed. Second RKO connecting on CM Punk. And I think that momentum may have just gone out the window for Punk. Yep, that's all she wrote. Well, you know what? That was a great competitive match between the two. I really think that if Orton hadn't reversed that go to sleep, it could have been a completely different situation. But as I said before, this is the version of Randy Orton that we really needed to see. That was a fantastic performance. as we now move on to our next match of the night. We're back here on Raw as it is time for some women's competition. The women's champion Michelle McCool is set to go toe-to-toe with the returning at Tiny Shiny. She took a week away, but she's back here tonight. So just waiting.
The WWE Women's Champion, Michelle McCool.
Well, Michelle McCool, the women's champion, was willing to give Tiny Shiny another opportunity, non-title of course, but she's giving her an opportunity to prove herself tonight, as these two are set to go one-on-one. For everyone that's been asking, I'm just going to give the answer now, because I feel like I should really address this. I feel like I might have already, but I'm going to give you guys the credit and the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to say I probably didn't. The situation on Superstar Threads, I have done 2 outfits for every single person in-game that we're using in the series that they fit. There are certain people like Stone Cold, for example, just as the first one off the top of my head, that I did not modify at all. No point. Tiny Star. Forgot about that. Well, Tiny Shiny is back. So had a very slight change. Saria sat and made her. We didn't record it this time. We just didn't really want to, I guess. I don't know. We just didn't. But Tiny Shiny is set to go one-on-one with Michelle McCool. Obviously, I suppose once you guys saw Nemesis, you already knew that Tiny Shiny was coming too. I'm kind of like 50-50 on bringing back Denightful, I will say, because like no one really seemed to care when I made him this time. He didn't really seem to have the following and the fandom that he had before, and I mean the person that runs the Twitter doesn't even seem to want to do that, and that was kind of like the best thing for me about it. So now that like that person's not really as involved, I'm not like putting it on them, I'm just saying like now that that's not there, I don't really find it as entertaining or as fun. So, because that was always my favorite thing about using Denightful, was using him and then seeing what they could come up with. But, you know, they may have gone off the series, may have gone off the channel, may just not have the time, might just be a million reasons. So, like, kind of just thinking of not making him. Oh my god, those proportions for Tiny Shiny. That is not at all what Saria's body looks like. Really small from the waist up, and then like really, really not thick, just not what she looks like. I let her make it though. It's her character, so that's what she wanted her to look like.
Devastating shot to the spine and back.
I've just found some match sliders that I might change.
Look at this. Michelle McCool. Oh, what an underhanded move.
So I'm just quickly reading up on the sliders, because obviously this is the only time I really can. Usually I'm playing the matches, but Tiny Shiny's in, so I'm just quickly checking them.
Uh-oh, this is bad.
Seems like there's some pretty good.
And Michelle answers back.
Seems like a pretty good suggestion that someone's come out with.
Intercepted. Lifted and now placed upside down. Tied up in the turnbuckle there.
I don't know. The main thing I want to do because I'm seeing some people say it, and obviously I can respect that, is I don't really like the idea of a reversal fest. There'll be times, like when I was fighting Orton earlier with Punk, where like, when they reverse, I'll let them get some offense in, just to make the match like actually a match and not just me squashing people. So I'm glad to see that that's kind of what they're covering in this topic that I'm reading up on as well. Like, I just don't really love the idea of every match being this super spammy reversal based match.
Look at this. What an incredible suplex.
I don't actually think I finished my thing like Superstar Throws. Let me quickly finish that first. Yeah, so I made 2 outfits for everyone that has them and that's being used in Universe. Like, for example, I didn't bother with, like, Vicky Guerrero or Mr. McMahon, because we're not actually going to use them. I know I ended up using McMahon once at Extreme Rules, but obviously if he does ever get used, it's going to be so rare that he can have the same outfit every time, because he's not going to become an average competitor. He's just like a special kind of thing, if you want to call, you know, Mr. McMahon special, that is. You know, there are certain people that I refuse. I will not use Vicky Guerrero. I did not like Vicky Guerrero at all. I was so fucking happy. As I said before in a video a long time ago, I stopped watching because they made her a regular thing. And I waited it out until she fucked off, and then I started watching again. I went off the show for like 2 to 3 years because it was just so obnoxious. And it wasn't the kind of I want to see something bad happen to her obnoxious. It was that I'm so sick of this obnoxious. But I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to repeat myself because I've already spoken at that before somewhere. I can't remember where. There's some people talking about how they've used things to like shorten matches but give them a realistic feeling and stuff, and like, this sounds pretty good, to be honest.
She's looking to get out of here. Oh! Oh, look out!
I might not mess with it anyway. It was just an idea I had.
Oh man, how impressive was that?
To look it up rather than screw around with it. Because I don't want big epic matches to be everything, so I don't want any sliders that do that.
All the damage to the torso, all the pain that's been dealt, appears to have finally taken its toll.
There's also a thing that recommends changing each person's durability based on what you're using them as. That's a pretty good idea, to be honest. I like that one. But I also don't really divide the rosters like that much, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense for me also.
One, two. Ooh, nice counter.
It's a cool idea, though.
Oh, this isn't good. Stay down. Stay down. McCool's not exactly acting like that. Oh no, this isn't good, Michael.
Uh-oh. I believe that's a finisher. Does it have the roll-through pin yet? No.
Big move coming.
I know that's the Styles Clash, and that's the only reason I knew that. It's the Mandible Claw. Shout out to Mick Foley on NXT. Obviously, I'll play this a little longer before I go screwing around with this kind of thing. I was just curious if people agree. Well, there you go. Michelle McCool has been pinned. Does that mean a title shot in the future? I don't know. I guess we'll see. Tiny Shiny. Well done, Tiny Shiny. Let's move on now to the United States Championship main event, as Dolph Ziggler is set to face someone handpicked by the Raw General Manager, Mr. McMahon himself. Well, there's obviously that big fight feeling now as we've reached the main event here on Raw. The question is, who is going to be the man picked by McMahon to challenge for the United States Championship, as Dolph Ziggler is set to defend it for the first time. Ooh, new theme song. Kind of fits his push he's been getting, to be honest. I'm going to be the one to say it. I don't think anyone's going to agree with me on this, but it's just an opinion I've had for such a long time. I love this version of his theme. When they re-recorded it to say, "I'm here to show the world," it went down in my opinion. This one's way better. It sounds better. I just don't really like his one that he uses nowadays in comparison. It's such a minor change, but it's enough of one that it just doesn't sound right. Like the intro and the chorus just sound way better in this one, in my opinion. So who's it gonna be? Oh boy.
Accompanied by Mr. McMahon.
Oh god.
From Harlem, New York, weighing 309 pounds, Ezekiel Jackson.
You want to talk about a hand-picked favorite? Look no further. Ezekiel Jackson said, when turning down an appearance on the final ECW, that he wasn't going to have a rematch for his former ECW title because he'd graduated from ECW, he'd moved on to bigger and better things, and that he wanted to set his sights on the United States title. Ain't it funny that then he paired up with Mr. McMahon at Extreme Rules? The two worked together in a team with hardcore champion Vladimir Kozlov, beat CM Punk, and obviously then had to face Kane M Punk and lose. And look who's at ringside. McMahon literally stood in the corner of Ezekiel Jackson, the guy who defeated CM Punk and prevented him from, well, momentarily prevented him from winning the match. And it seems like that was enough of a reason to give Jackson the reward that he'd spoken about. Kind of makes you sick, but it is what it is. This is not going to be an easy match for Dolph Ziggler, that's for sure. I mean, he's got to go through Ezekiel Jackson. He's got to somehow win the match with McMahon at ringside. The guy that literally makes the rules for this brand is stood on the side of the ring right now in the corner of the challenger. That's going to make things a little bit difficult.
Ezekiel Jackson, what must he be thinking now?
Okay, so corner running grapples don't work particularly well.
Intercepted.
McMahon getting as close to the action as he physically can.
Oh, look out! And there's the rugged strength of this massive Ezekiel Jackson. And look at Ziggler capitalizing.
I think this is going to be a really tough match for someone like Dolph Ziggler to get through. Someone who is so much smaller in stature and strength than the former ECW champion.
The power of Ezekiel Jackson. Out of the ring. Now what's going to happen? Jackson. Big move coming.
Dolph almost in the same situation that Punk was in 8 days ago right now. 2-on-1 outside the ring with McMahon and Jackson. Just that McMahon's not actually allowed by the general ruling of the match, not by his own ruling. He's not actually allowed to put his hands on Dolph Ziggler unless he's throwing him back in the ring. I think that's the only thing that's permitted. But a move, an actual wrestling move being executed on Dolph Ziggler at the hands of Mr. McMahon is an automatic disqualification and a forfeit of this United States Championship match. I think it's very interesting the fact that we've not really seen any appearances from Vladimir Kozlov since failing McMahon and Jackson in that 3-on-1 match. He was the guy that got pinned after all. Whether or not he's still associated with Jackson, I don't know.
Look at this. Big time strength there.
Absolutely clubbing clothesline across the face as Ezekiel Jackson takes control, and I believe Dolph Ziggler's been bloodied already in this one at the hands of Jackson.
Too slow. Wow, the power of Ezekiel Jackson.
Every time Dolph tries to get back into it, you notice that Jackson is right there on the reversal. And everybody does German suplexes these days. Heads up move by Dolph Ziggler. Haven't heard that one in a little while. As Dolph goes for the 10 strikes to the face once again. A lot less spaced out that time.
Once again, the United States Championship is on the line.
And that one hit with the force of a big rig.
Off the ropes.
Ziggler,
Nice reversal by Dolph, but again, it's Jackson who's in control still. Such a short moment he was in control, was Dolph. Things really haven't gone McMahon's way as of late. Apparently Cody Rhodes may be out with an injury. We haven't seen him in quite some time. Specifically, it's Cody that's worth mentioning there. Something went wrong during one of his recent matches, and he's out with a small injury. So, in case you're wondering where the legacy have been, I don't know why Ted's kind of sitting on the sidelines, but Cody Rhodes currently out with an injury.
Ziggler with a nice mat-based attack there. His ground game takes a toll on you both mentally and physically. Oh my gosh, did you see his head?
Dolph is actually managing to get some offense in, and right as I said that, oh, there you go. You see how quickly Ezekiel Jackson just gets back up from every move that's executed on him. This guy's the real deal. Oh, hang on a second. What's Dolph got face planted into the ring?
Devastating. Simply devastating.
This could be huge if he manages to pull off this win. Zigzag has connected, and here's the cover on Jackson. Mr. McMahon is frustrated, but he didn't get involved. And interestingly enough, I guess that was a rightly placed moment there, as Jackson was able to kick out of Dolph Ziggler's finisher at a simple 2 count.
In the ropes, and that may have been the only
Rope break. I'm surprised Mr. McMahon didn't try to bend those rules. To be honest, he hasn't actually been as intrusive in this match as I was anticipating. He's just got a bit of confidence in Jackson right now, though. There you go. Starting to shrink down a little bit. I couldn't quite think of the word I was looking for. Starting to deteriorate.
The WWE Universe hanging on every move.
Oh, got a full Nelson locked in by Jackson, but it's a very quick escape for Dolph Ziggler. I think he prevented that one from even getting locked in, realistically.
Ziggler wants to soar.
This could be a good idea. Yeah, elbow drop manages to connect, and Ziggler once again going for the cover. And almost as if he knew that McMahon was going to distract. Oh, Ziggler going for a steel chair. Referee had his back turn to McMahon pretty quickly there, though. I think it was wise that Dolph didn't end up doing what he was thinking of. I think Dolph wants to win this match. He wants to prove himself, but he was willing to take the shortcut to get through someone like Jackson. And I gotta respect that in a way. Not much, but I gotta respect it. Oh. One of the shortest held titles in this series is the US title. No champions have managed to hold it for particularly long, and Dolph is looking to change that. He's looking to bring some prestige to the most changed hands championship in the business, and that DDT escape from a torture rack. Honestly, a thing of miracle. Oh no. Jackson with the old shove down, the classic Ezekiel Jackson move. And that's it. Dolph Ziggler managed to escape the torture rack, but he couldn't prevent himself from losing this title just 8 days after capturing it.
And the new United States champion, Ezekiel Jackson.
With the help of the Raw general manager himself, he has managed to handpick who he wanted as the United States champion all along. Ezekiel Jackson coming out with an emotional victory here as he's won his 2nd championship, the ECW title, to close out this week's Raw. Thank you all for joining me for Raw. Honestly, a disappointing outcome to the match, I gotta say, but it is what it is. And I'll see you guys on NXT tomorrow night.